Hey everyone, today I'm doing a video on my Hoover Deluxe Elite Rewind that I purchased from that Vacuum Geek back in April, and my Hoover Platinum Collection Windtunnel Bagless that has been in my family since 2009, but I did not actually own until December of 2023. Go watch the video I did on this if you want to hear the backstory behind it. But anyways, so I thought this would be a fun little comparison to do because as far as I know, this was Hoover's highest end upright on their domestic line. And on the same domestic line, this was also, to my knowledge, Hoover's lowest end upright, because as far as I know, I could be wrong, but as far as I know, the fold away and the tempo bagless and wide path bagless and all that were discontinued by the 2008-2009 time region. I think the M-Power was still out, but it was more expensive than this, I think. So anyways, yeah. So let's just start from the bottom up, as usual. So the Elite has a plastic brush roll, while the Windtunnel has a wooden brush roll. Back up. The Elite has a see-through brush window that you can't see through anymore, while the Windtunnel does not. This is pretty self-explanatory. The Elite does not have Windtunnel technology. The Elite has 7 height adjustments with a knob, while the Windtunnel has electronic fingertip height adjustment controls, but only has 4 height adjustments. Well, technically 3 if you only count this as a brush roll shutoff. The Windtunnel has a big bright LED headlight, whereas the Elite just has a regular peanut bulb. Both machines do have HEPA filters. Take the Elite's HEPA filter out. But the Windtunnel HEPA filter looks more higher end than the Elite's. I don't think I've taken this filter door off since I got it because I remember it staying on, but I guess it doesn't. Also, the Windtunnel is multi-cyclonic, but it doesn't have that good of bin capacity, whereas the Elite is single cyclonic, but has a lot more bin capacity in comparison. But this dust cup is also fatter though, so could be off on that. Also, on the Windtunnel, you lift up on this Hoover emblem. This is a design that would later be used in the T-Series models that were released in very late 2009. And there's your filter right there. Whereas the Elite, you have to take this whole top piece off and twist that shroud off to access the filter. And also, the Windtunnel has washable filters, or at least this filter is washable. The Elite does not. The Elite, you have to bang them out or vacuum them off with another vacuum. So that snaps back in like that. Same with the Windtunnel, snaps back in. Same way. Put this back on. So the Elite has a retractable cord, while the Windtunnel does not. But the Windtunnel has a much longer cord at 35, might even be 40 feet. I'd have to check though, but it's around that. The Elite, on the other hand, has a very short cord at only 24 feet. So I just noticed these vacuums have almost the exact same hose. But if that had the wand, it would be a different wand than this, and I'm pretty sure this hose is slightly longer. If this had the attachments, it would just have a crevice tool and dusting brush, maybe an upholstery tool. I think that's all it came with, but I actually did just test this. The attachments from the Elite actually fit onto the Windtunnel, and I'd imagine the reverse is true too. Another difference is the Windtunnel has a motor cooling thermostat, whereas the Elite, to my knowledge, does not. Also, another difference is that I left out, last really comparable difference, is that the Elite has a turbo brush, and to my knowledge, the Windtunnel did not come with one. Also, the Elite has a cord clip, and the Windtunnel does not. Yeah. Also, the Windtunnel has one of those lifetime belt thingies, whereas the Elite is one of those where you have to change the belt every year. Both require screws to access the brush roll. I know that's about 5 or 6 screws to access, but the Windtunnel is 4, 5, maybe 6. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5. So basically the same. Serviceability, I think the Elite is better with that, as it is more simple. This has a whole circuit board, enough said there. And on both this model, apparently, I just recently learned, we're prone to failing. I know the bagged one, it was horrible, but to my knowledge, it didn't happen on this one, or so I thought until very recently. Anyways, oh, and the Windtunnel has rubber-coated wheels to protect hard floors, while the Elite does not. Also, the Elite, you cannot turn the brush roll off. But, yeah, so I think that is about it. So I will get some paper down, and this will be interesting considering this is the first time I've ever used either of these in a paper test. Put some paper down, get them plugged in, and we will do our test. Okay, our runway is set, and we will start with the Elite first. I love that. Anyways, I guess it should be obvious, but the Elite doesn't have anything that lights up when you plug it in. Oh yeah, another difference. The Elite has an airflow indicator, while the Windtunnel does not. Okay, pretty good results from the Elite. Now let's do the Windtunnel. It did kick a little back for some reason. Not really sure why. Let's do the Windtunnel. So the wind tunnel, I don't know if it actually kicked anything back or if it blew some stuff back because of the exhaust being where it is. But yeah, but the Elite, on the other hand, snowplowed and kicked some back. Both did a great job. Both are great machines still, but I think I'm gonna have to say the wind tunnel one. So hope you enjoyed this comparison.